Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Economy by Aman Soni. In today's news hour, we'll be discussing the important articles related to economy from the Hindu newspaper. In page 1, we have a news related to the rising exports. The India's merchandise exports, that is the goods exports, touched almost $34.5 billion in January, which is almost 25% more than what it was in the same month in the previous year. So compared to January last year, this year's January's trade merchandise exports increased by 25%. And when the exports increased, the imports of gold almost reduced by half compared to the previous month. So because of the increase in export and the fall in imports, the trade deficit is one of the lowest in the last 5 months. Trade deficit is nothing but the difference between exports and imports. If the imports are more than exports, we have trade deficit. If the exports are more than imports, we have favorable trade balance. And what is the difference between balance of trade and balance of payments? When we only take the difference between the import and export of goods, that is balance of trade. And balance of service is the difference between import and export of value of services. And if we add balance of trade, balance of service, and the difference between the transfer payments, we get balance of payments. So balance of payment is a broader term which includes the balance of trade, services, and the transfer payments. So if the balance of payment is favorable, means we are exporting more than importing. If it is unfavorable, means we are importing more than exporting. And because of the reduction in the gold imports in the current month and the increase in the exports, our trade deficit came to one of the lowest in the last 5 months. This is about this article. In the editorial page, there is a indirect news related to economy about the online gaming. Previously, the Karnataka government had banned the online gaming, saying that it is addictive and many people are getting indebted because of this and they are committing suicides because they are not able to pay the debts. So the Karnataka government went for a blanket ban of all the online games which had an element of gambling in that. But the court struck down that order of the government, saying that you cannot have a blanket ban for all the games. In law, there is an exception for skill based games. For example, even in an online game, even if you are betting, if there is an element of skill involved, it's not just blind chance but element of skill involved. Say there is a game about cricket betting and you have to choose the teams and everything, and if there is an element of skill involved, that is allowed under the law, but it is purely chance, no element of skill involved, then that is banned and justified by the court. Now here it was a complete blanket ban. The court didn't agree and strike down the judgment, saying that this is against the individual freedom for trade. Somewhere you have to balance between freedom for trade and protection measures that you are going to take. The government said that people are ruining their lives and they are taking away their lives because of this gaming addiction and getting into lots of debt. But the court said even in the games online segment there is an element of skill based games, so you can't have blanket ban on all the games, and ban only on online games and not on the offline games would lead to injustice for the online segment, because on one platform you are allowing, that is in the offline, but in the online you are banning, which is not right. So the court finally said you have to balance between the individual freedom for trade and the protection measures that you are taking as a state. Coming to the business page, Sensex rebounds 3% on Russia-Ukraine tensions. If you are regularly following the newspaper, you know all about the news. So it is obvious for the Sensex to improve when the tensions between these two countries improving, and the probable impact that it will have on the oil market and it would have on the Indian economy. So you can just read the headlines and you know what the news is going to be in the article. So you need not go through the article again. Just read the headlines and move forward. SEBI walks back mandatory separation of chairman and MD. Because for the ease of corporate governance, the SEBI had given guidelines that the chairperson and the managing director, which currently many people in the corporates hold as the same person, the roles have to be separated so that there will be accountability, transparency when there are different roles and there won't be any conflict of interest. But now SEBI has made it voluntary for the companies to do that, and it is no more mandatory. Here you just need to read the headlines and skip. Same with the IT sector, read the headlines. No need to go through SpiceJet news. Again, news on future retail and Supreme Court. So when you're regularly following the newspaper, you know what the news is. The same news keeps repeating, the issue keeps repeating again and again. At that time, you can just read the headlines and you can skip. We have discussed the ban on online gaming platform in the editorial page, so we need not go through the details again. And this article is directly not related to economy, but we'll see how even the foreign reserves can be freezed by a government, other government. After the Taliban exit, the Afghan takeover by the Taliban, the Afghan bank had funds in the United States. The bank name is the Afghanistan Bank. It had funds almost of 9 billion to $7 billion in the United States, and out of this, currently the United States government is allowing the 3.5 billion dollar of funds to be used for humanitarian aid for the Afghan people through the relief programs like the World Food Program, and the remaining funds, the victims of terrorism in the United States, say the 9/11 terrorism victims, their family members, they are claiming damages from these funds. So the question here is, can the foreign government seize your assets, and can it do it? Is it justified? Because the Taliban people say that these funds belong to Afghanistan people and you cannot use it as you want. But US government is saying that we are using it for the humanitarian causes for the Afghan people itself. So we are justified in doing that. Exploiting the Chinese exit. Recently the government again banned many Chinese apps like Free Fire and other apps. Last year it had banned many Chinese apps. So what is the impact it would have on the Indian market? The article says that this is the time for Indian IT people to invest in the market and make good use of it at the time of China's exit. The author says that the China previously had imposed so many restrictions on the internet in China, which he calls the Great Chinese Wall of Internet, and that allowed the Chinese market to grow its own version of the internet. For every app they had a alternative. For Google they had something called Baidu. For YouTube they had something called Youku, Tudo, and for messaging they had WeChat, and it allowed the regional players like Alibaba to grow after the ban. So now the Indian government, after its ban, the same opportunity exists even for the Indian IT sector. And at this time, what we are doing, instead of just copying the Chinese apps that are exited, we need to create new apps that solve our problems. For example, after the cam scanner was banned last year, we had Indians develop a copycat version of the cam scanner. So the author is saying that we should not do that because that is not sustainable for the long term. Instead, you should fill the hole by coming up with new apps which would solve the problems of Indians, the daily problems of Indians. This is the right opportunity for you to do that. And majorly the Indian IT people, we act as outsourcing for the West. We provide services to the West, but instead of acting as just service providers, we should look to replace it with the Indian market. For that, we need to develop our own market. We have to focus on providing high quality services to the Indians and focus on the Indians because India has one of the lowest data cost and one of the high number of internet users, and this user base is not yet exploited by the Indian market, Indian IT sector. When the Silicon Valley companies are trying to focus on the Indian market, we are ourselves are not focusing on the Indian market enough. So it is the right time for us to invest in the Indian apps and IT sector. And there are certain regional barriers in the country because of the language and other regional factors, but we need to have a hyper regional approach. For example, when you create an app, a banking app, you should be able to look at the user interface of the app in all regional languages so that people of all the states could get connected with that app instead of just giving it in English. And we can have regional service providing apps like the apps which provides the prices of markets, local train and bus routes, and even in the sectors like education, health, online sales. So we need to go for hyper local and hyper regional apps, but the accessibility should be easy. We should not just focus on the English speaking customer base, but we should also focus on the other untapped potential market. That is, those customers who do not speak English but speak the local language, they are huge untapped potential for the market. So we should also focus on them to leverage the business. That's about this article. This is the end of News Hour today. Thank you so much.